the fact that one can be able to get a driver's permit and doesn't have the classification for a rider and doesn't run or operate a car. There's a bit of a misnomer and exactly how things are rolling out. I hope later on he can be able to feed us in on exactly what it is.
Well, the point of this operation is to really streamline these things and to ensure to the different classified drivers within the country that this, if you have this permit, then you are meant to be aligned with this nature of a vehicle or a motorcycle for that matter. So this business of having a license for a motorcycle and you're in a car, a license for a car and you're in a motorcycle will not be tolerated, which then begs that everyone better do the right thing so that we can have law and order. Now, speaking of law and order, we also do have Ivan Kiwarunyoro, who is on ground in Entebbe, and there's going to be a non-aligned countries conference that is coming up. And now these are countries that actually depend on each other to be able to activate some of the developmental projects within their own countries. Now, Stephen Bita is going to be interacting with some of its members. Good morning to you, Ivan.
Well, thank you very much, Chris and Priscilla. I'm coming to you from Katavi Town Council here in Wakiso District this beautiful morning. Of course, we know there was a slight downpour almost across all the central districts, and Entebbe is not an exception, but people are moving out to go and find what to feed their families. Where I'm standing, it is named Kampala Road. Kampala Road, actually one would think it's in Kampala, but this road, it's an access road from Katavi traffic lights through the central market here. There is Entebbe police just up there. Then also the regional referral hospital, that's Grade B as named, and then to State House. And it's one of the projects that government is undertaking to, you know, rehabilitate, to restore what Entebbe used to have, being that it was the first colonial capital, and many of the roads actually had gone bad. But the government got some funding. Actually, this is a news-made road, but many others that they're trying to rehabilitate. We know very well that the country will be hosting the non-allied countries in December, about 150 of them. So the government started on an initiative to make sure that they rehabilitate and also maintain some of the roads that were constructed during the colonial times, and by this time they have gone bad. But away from that, of course, we know that Parliament gave a leave to members of its house to go and supervise, to go and monitor some of the projects that government is trying to implement, and among them is, of course, the PDA parish development model. There was a Myoga, among other projects, just like I said, some being the construction works that are being done here. But I just want to speak to the honorable member of Entebbe Municipality, that is Michael Kakembo, to just give us a feel. What findings, what did they find in the field in as far as how they moved out to go and supervise, monitor some of these government projects? Honorable, welcome with me on Morning at NTV.
Good morning, Ivan.
I know I've just rammed into your time when you are heading to
bed and I'm going to work.
Yes, but just give us a feel. You have been monitoring some of the government projects. Among them is the PDM, the Myoga, and this construction works. What are the findings?
The findings are very unfortunate that we had warned our people, the minister, those who are in charge, not to rush this project. People are not ready, including the so-called technocrats. They are not ready. They don't understand what PDM is all about. You can imagine most of the money that was put on the account, even up to today, it has not been withdrawn. So people are not using this money. Money is seated on the account for almost now a year. It is embarrassing, because we warned this government that do not rush into a project people have not understood, including the technocrats. So they went into the same. The Myoga was still having serious issues in Entebbe. Before they rectify the issues, now they come in with another project of the parish development model. The Myoga people are still crying even up to today. They haven't accessed their money. These are poor people in Achuogo, poor people in Rugonjo, who had saved their money on their account with expectations that very soon the government is going to give us money. But what the government did, they instead freeze the account of those people. With their money on the account, it's now 2 years. They can't access that money. People get their money from banks, from microfinance, but today they are paying loans, which they have not even invested. It is very unfortunate.
I had the town clerk of Entebbe, Charles Magumba, speaking to the Honorable Minister for Kampala, that is Chofa Togabye, that over 100 millions are on their accounts. Is there any group that has received this money used?
So that is dead money. If someone tells you the money is on account, you must be knowing the reason why we are giving money. We are giving money to invest. So money comes and it is distributed to different groups, parish development groups. But they cannot use the money. Money is seated on the account. So an account that has been freezed, that's not money. Because money must be accessible for investment, isn't it? So money has been seated on the account for a year now.
What comment? I know you are going back to Parliament when it has resumed to give recommendations. What are you going to recommend as members?
Well, I would recommend government be more serious on the projects. It is an embarrassment for the government that has been in power for the last 36 years to be still testing Ugandans, testing projects, testing here and there. You know, we are in a laboratory. The government is testing. Let us try a yoga for 1 year. It can't work. No, now let us try the parish development model. It is fading. Why? We have technocrats who are well paid. They do research. They can come up with serious projects that can help this country.
Okay, away from that, we know that Uganda is going to host the non-allied countries in December. And just like I earlier said, the projects that are being now implemented, among them maintaining roads that lead to hotels, that they want to beautify the area, and you've been inspecting some of them. What's your take?
First uplift. Of course, Entebbe deserves better. Entebbe was the first capital city of Uganda. And Entebbe being the face of Uganda, the gateway to Uganda, in and out, of course, we have to improve our face. In December, we are going to host the non-aligned countries. The country, we call them Nampa Wengwa. Those who don't belong to the center-left or center-right. They are coming to have their conference, a powerful conference in this country. And probably Entebbe, we are welcoming them. We have the best hotels, and they are going to stay here. So I want to thank Entebbe Municipal Council leadership, including the town clerk, Mr. Charles Magumba, for utilizing our money so well. This is the money, some of the money we got from USIMID, other money we got from World Bank, and we are trying to uplift the face of Entebbe. Entebbe Central Market here is being improved, you can see. The hotels, the nightclubs, you know, Entebbe at night is a special place for everybody to enjoy. We have our industrial center up to Entebbe town. The lights have been improved, you can see. We have enough security lights, and indeed, I must say that this is what we deserve as Entebbe. Yeah, as leaders, that's what we deserve. Yes.
The access road, the feeder roads that are being also constructed, have you gotten a chance to inspect?
I was there in Chiwafu, and they're doing a great job. Chiwafu is going to improve. Connecting Chiwafu Road, Jinja Road, back to Lugonjo, we call it Chinachogo Road, the other side of Lugonjo. And things are going to be really good. And
Honorable, anything last before I let you go?
Why don't I thank the people of Entebbe, those who voted us in power, and my comrades, the leaders, the mayor, the town clerk, that we are doing what we promised our people. Entebbe deserves better, and indeed, you can look at Entebbe and feel, yeah, you are in Entebbe now. This is the first capital city, the historical city, a city where the president stays, the city where we have the only international airport, the gateway to Uganda. We deserve better. Okay. And that's where we are going.
Honorable, I know you are going to Parliament. Let me let you go for time reasons, but thank you for making time to speak to us.
You are welcome. Okay, I'm so humbled, please.
Okay.
And good morning.
Okay. Honorable Member of Parliament for Entebbe Municipality, Michael Kakembo Mbwate Kamaja, speaking to us on a number of things. Among them is, of course, the fact that Uganda will be hosting the non-allied countries in December, and the projects being implemented to make sure Entebbe is beautified. Earlier on, the Minister for Kampala also asked the Entebbe Municipal Council to make sure that the people who have all the structures, buildings along the main road, should make sure that they repaint them, those that have gone out of shape, and maybe if the owners can demolish them, so that when the guests get to Uganda in December, a sign of beauty will start from Entebbe. Time reasons, I want to get back to the studios. A very good morning to you and our audience.